Welcome back to my YouTube channel Cloud and AI Analytics. Hope everyone is doing good. I am Vignesh, and in this video we are going to see or we are going to learn what is server, what is serverless, and the difference between server and serverless. In my previous video I have explained the other topics like compute, cloud computing, types, features, and types of cloud providers, all those things. In my previous video I have explained you what are the service categories and service models offered by cloud, and I'll make a detailed and more elaborative way connecting it with Google Cloud, explaining you what is IaaS and what is PaaS, what is SaaS, and followed by what is FaaS. I'll try to connect it with Google Cloud. I have already given that explanation, but still I'll try to make a detailed or elaborate video. So in this video, we are going to see server, serverless, and difference between the two. So without any further delay, let's get started. So what is server? So basically server is something where we will host our application, we will store the data, we will do some computation, we will do some calculation, and everything will be happening at the server level. And based on that, we like one server will be dependent on another server based on the data or the application, all those things. So the technical definition of a server is it is a computer or a device that provides programmable service to another computer or to an end user. For example, if you want to connect your Google account, you are actually connecting to a Google server. So if you want to connect your AWS account, you will be connecting to AWS server. If you are doing some purchase in Amazon or Flipkart, no, you will be actually connecting it to the actual AWS server or Flipkart server, and there you will be choosing some product. You will be making you will be checking out the product. Everything will be happening at the server level only. So you are actually connecting to a Google server that could be provisioned in the cloud with a specific CSP, that is cloud service provider like AWS, Azure, or even Google Cloud. After connecting to the server, it allows you to have experience dedicated to the server and what is it trying to provide for you. For example, if you are connecting to Flipkart, you will be checking out products, all those things, whatever that application or whatever that server is about to provide you, you will be able to do it. So that is what server means. And basically there are three different types of servers. One is database server, where we will store the data, and then known as app server, like where we will host our applications or where we have that applications present inside that server. And then web servers. So web servers is something where we will be like HTTP, HTTPS servers, those type of things will be actually present inside that. So all these things provides a different, like database server provides a different thing, app server, web server provides different thing. So all of them serve different purposes but can work together to accomplish a common goal, giving good experience to the user. So that is what all the servers will be collectively will be placed, or it will be operated to give experience, a good experience to the user. Like when you work with Flipkart, it is not just a single server, like it is not a database server alone. It is going to be including database server. It will have web server as well as application server as well. That is, it is to make the user a good experience. It is to give a good good experience to the end user. So what are the benefits of server computing? You will have full access. So everything will be maintained, monitored, everything will be by the user itself, managed and maintained within the company by the in-house IT team. So it is completely in on-premise. Servers allows unlimited access. In other words, your IT department can install or alter any software, quickly fix issues, and have absolute control over backup. The next one is security. When you have full access, obviously like everything, security will be also with you only. All of your critical data is safely stored on the premise and no third-party services has access to it. The server's computing model is known for its high security. The next one is no dependency on internet connection. So even there is network issue or good network, bad internet, that will not going to affect you. So the next thing is, what is the drawback of server computing? Obviously the cost. It is going to be very high because everything it is maintained or everything it is invested from you. So the largest disadvantage is high cost, because you have to maintain the infrastructure, cooling and power consumption requires significant investment, and you have to hire an efficient IT team in order to maintain all those things. So basically that is also with the cost only. And when to use server computing? So server computing is a valid option for companies that cannot entirely rely on a stable internet connection. When this is your use case or this is what your company is following, like they can't rely on internet connection, then you can go with this server computing. And if you have a very skilled and efficient IT team also, you can go with this. Like you can upgrade hardware, but still the cost is there, right? So this is what the server is. I have explained you what is server, what are the benefits of server computing, disadvantages, and when to use server computing. The next thing is serverless. So what is serverless? Serverless is a cloud computing execution model in which the cloud service provider allocates machine resources on demand. So in server, we will be configuring according to our requirement. For example, if you are going to process 10 GB volume of the data, we will be needing 8 virtual CPUs and 16 GB RAM. So that is, we are going to configure even before we are going it, even before we building it. We know that configuration, we know the specifications, and then we are going to build that model with the server. Whereas in serverless, we are not going to do anything. Everything will be taken care by the cloud provider. Let it be 10 GB of data, 100 GB of data, or 1000 GB of the data. Everything will be scalable. Like serverless computing is basically going to be scalable based on the requirement or based on the demand of the data, volume of the data. And in other words, serverless does not mean the absence of servers. It means server is something which will be present there, but we as a user, we are not going to control. We don't have any control over it. So serverless architecture refers to delegating server management and maintenance to a third party cloud provider. So based on the volume of the data, based on the data requirement, we will be able to scale up or scale down, like maintain it, but not as a user, but by a third party cloud provider itself. For example, if you are using Google Cloud Platform, you will be using like Google Cloud itself will provide you, or it will give you the serverless architecture for you. So serverless is the framework that makes that happen. So the user can focus on developing products and writing code, while the cloud vendor take care of the server infrastructure. So we don't need to worry about the scaling, loading, auto scaling, auto loading, all those things. Everything will be taken care by Google Cloud itself or cloud platform itself. As a user, we have to concentrate on developing a great product and writing code to it. The provider will allocate everything you need in response to the activity within your code or a function. Whatever our code requires or whatever our function requires, like the cloud developer or the cloud provider will basically give that source, like what availability, scalability, auto loading, auto scaling, all those things will be provided by the cloud platform itself. What is the benefits of serverless computing? Obviously the cost. Serverless computing is generally very cost effective because the cost is not fixed. Based on the volume of the data, it can be able to scale. So if you are using 10 GB, there will be 10 machines. If they are using 100 GB, then there will be 100 machines. So based on the volume of the data or based on the data that machines are going to get created or going to get generated. So cost is something based on the business use case or based on the volume of the data it is going to get it, or else it is not going to like what we have in server. Like server, we have to pay everything, right? We have to do everything. Even you get 10 GB data or 100 GB of data, it will be still running. But when it comes to serverless computing, it is not going to run. If it is 10 GB data, whatever the mission configuration which is required to process the 10 GB of data, that is what it will be present here. So the next is scalability. I told you, like it can process 10 GB, 100 GB, 1000 GB of data as well, and global data access. So it is not restricted inside a specific location, or it can be global. If you have internet anywhere, you will be able to work with this, like global data access and simplified scalability, simplified backend code, and quicker turnaround. Like serverless architecture, within fraction of minutes, you will be able to create hundreds of machines as well, or 10 machines also. You will be able to do. You'll be able to do it. And what is the drawback of serverless computing? You will lack the control or visibility. You don't know what is happening, what is really happening behind the picture. Based on the volume of the data, you will not see what is really happening, how you will be able to control. You will not have that control and visibility. Serverless is about delegating server maintenance, which subsequently gives away some control. And you will like there is no transparency, and you will be not able to control, and you will be not able to view it as well. So when to use serverless computing? One of the biggest benefit of serverless computing is that its scalability. So the scalability is one of the biggest reason. And when there is you can directly go with internet as well. So you can directly go with internet. If there is internet is there, you can go with this serverless computation or serverless computing. If you are expecting growth and require an environment that will meet the demand. So in a use case, when you are working with a use case like 10 GB of data or 100 GB of data or 1000 GB of data. You can expect 10 GB of data also, you can expect 100 GB of data also. When you are in that scenario where you really don't know the volume of the data, so if that is your use case, and if your use case is very critical, then you can go with this serverless computing solution or serverless computing environment as well. So I hope you have understood what is server, what is serverless, when to use server and when to use serverless. So now we'll try to understand the difference between server and serverless. First thing is security. So basically both, it is going to give a good tight security. Servers computing, it is everything in the compute and on-premise itself. So not a third party will come and access data. So that is also there. And whereas in serverless computing also, you'll have all the data will be encrypted, and everything will be restricted with under IAM. So there is like there is a deep, or it is also controlled with serverless, it is also controlled in serverless computing. So if you take between the server and serverless, with a security point of view, it is going to be type neither server, neither server or serverless, it is going to win. Both, it is going to give you the same thing. So it is a tie here. The next thing is cost. Obviously serverless is the winner here, because if you have 10 GB, if you have 10 GB of data, you will be able to create only whatever the date, whatever the machine which is required to process the 10 GB of data. If you have 100 GB, if you have 1000 GB, that the scenario is going to be same based on the volume of the data, or based on the scenario, use case scenario. It is going to generate, or it is going to create machines according to it. But that is not the same with server computing. You have to maintain all those things, like let it be from hardware, electricity, toolings, cooling tools, bills, all those things you have to do, you have to invest it from your packet. So it is a very clear that serverless, it is going to be a clear cut winner here. The next thing is control. So when we wanted to have control, obviously, like I told you, the one of the biggest drawback with serverless is you don't have that control. You don't know what is exactly happening back the picture. So control is something where it is very clear that server is a clear winner there. The next thing is support. So even with support as well, you will be able to get more support from the cloud provider. Whereas server computing, you should have really a good team, and it should be end to end. They have to do everything. So it is very clear that serverless is a clear winner here when it comes with the support. And next, the scalability. Scalability is the biggest advantage of serverless computing, and it is very clear that it is going to be serverless. And then accessibility. So accessibility is also something where since you do not need any internet here in server, you will be able to access, but it is going to be in a specific region only. Whereas if you lose any internet connection, if you lose internet connection, or if something happens to your internet or your network, all those things, so you will draw back, or you will lose the connection with the serverless computing. So when it comes with accessibility, server computing is the clear winner here. So this is what the difference between server and serverless, and I have explained you what is server, what is serverless, and the difference between those two. If you have any questions or any doubts, please post in the comment section. I'll take a look at it and reply to it as soon as possible. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to Cloud and AI Analytics, and don't forget to click on the bell icon. I'll meet you in the next video with more interesting content from Google Cloud and from cloud point of view as well. Until then, it's bye from Vignesh. Happy learning. Please do support Cloud and AI Analytics, doing it the cloud way. Thank you.